Hey guys, everything new under the sun. I want to take a look at this breaking Israel news article. The mystery of the lost Jubilee. What is that, part 26? Finally found. In the past 25 articles, we have looked at the Jubilee year from both Jewish and Christian perspectives to examine whether God might be restoring to the world an identification of the Jubilee calendar as described in Leviticus chapter 25. Now, the Jubilee generally is every 7 years, which is kind of the smaller Jubilee, the smaller reset of things. And then you get an every 50-year Jubilee, which is a larger reset related to society, nations, economy. So you have the small resets every 7 years, and then the big reset or big event every 50. And biblically, God did things on the a lot of big things on the Jubilee calendar, on the 7 sevens and the 50th year calendar. So trying to figure out where the Jubilee is would give us milestones, flagpoles or whatever, to suggest that some big event is coming, because this is a Jubilee year. And so to determine when the Jubilee year is would give us an indication of what big event was prophetically and biblically significant, if it happened on a Jubilee year, for example, and maybe what wasn't significant, and maybe that we should be waiting for some other big significant event, because God does have a timeline. He is very mathematical. He invented it, after all, and so trying to determine the Jubilees is very interesting, and very likely the death of Christ would be a Jubilee, a reset of sorts, a reset of sin, certainly. But this article is speaking about Trump's win and trying to figure out, is Trump's win and maybe the Brexit part of the Jubilee pattern. So it says this article examines whether recent upset events like Trump's win and the Brexit can help us identify whether a Jubilee is here. Remember, the Jubilee is the largest systematic social reconstruction tool in the Bible. Short of the inauguration of the Messianic rule at the end of the age. It is a divine reset of land every 50th year that gives the poorest of the land the chance to restart their lives in a new direction. Slaves are set free. People who have sold, given away, and even been tricked out of the most precious possession, their own land, get it back. In the economies of ancient times, it was not God's but man's golden rule that always prevailed. Those who have the gold make the rules. Thus the rich and the powerful made sure that they could stay that way, short of a populist revolt. And the poor were managed and frequently abused by their rulers in a way that would skew even more available resources. But the Jubilee of God was God's intervention to systematically and periodically uproot the human tendency. So this was God effectively resetting stuff, even if man screwed it up, even if government screwed it up, even if rich people screwed it up. God would reset it, and the poor people would get back some of what they lost effectively. So periodically uproot this human tendency, giving every family of the earth the chance, at least once in their lifetime, to be part of a grand reset, a move in a new direction, and gain economic success. It goes on. In the series, we have asked whether God might be in the process of restoring the Jubilee to the world. That process, we reasoned, should begin by restoring the Jubilee calendar itself. And indeed, there seems to be a striking pattern exhibited through a series of key events that have occurred in 50-year cycles, most notably in relation to the nation of Israel, but even extending to the rest of the world. We have pointed at the pattern of events in late 1917, the Balfour Declaration, and even events in spring 67, the Six-Day War and the reunification of Jerusalem, were so startling that we said in this series that we have to watch the events of 2016-2017 to see whether God might do something important in the nation of Israel. We said that on the Hebrew calendar, the period we would first examine should be the Jewish year of 5776, roughly September 2015 to October 2016. And on the Gregorian calendar, we must watch through to the end of 2017. A particular article looks at the evidence of the Jubilee year ending in 5776, a year that is now fully in the books. Has there been clear evidence of Jubilee-like events in 5776? And it says, yes, there's been one big decision within the nation of Israel that is Jubilee-like. The restoration of the land to the Jewish people on April 17th, Prime Minister Netanyahu took his cabinet across the Jordan to the Golan Heights and declared that the future status of the Golan Heights within Israel has now been irrevocably decided. The Golan will forever be part of Israel. Skipping down here, has there been any clear evidence of those Jubilee-like events in the year 5776 related to the world? Has there been a global event? And it suggests that the Brexit of the United Kingdom is the global event that happened. It seems fitting that the very nation that helped propel the establishment of the Jewish homeland in 1917 should be set free from the clutches of the European Union in the Hebrew calendar year 5776. So it says the Brexit is a world-changing event. What about other key elections around the world? 2 other election upsets have recently rocked the world. One before and another just after 5776. In March 2017, Netanyahu and the Likud party shocked Israel by winning landslide victory in Israel. And then, of course, Trump in the Jewish year 5777, November 8th, won the presidential nomination, won the position of president just a week ago or whatever. Not a week ago. My goodness. Tuesday or whatever it was. Now we write of the American election that made Trump an upset winner. Like Brexit, the populist decision, the most dramatic upset in over 100 years in America, is once again reminiscent of a jubilee, a desire for freedom from government as we know it. Jubilee Year as a year of rest. What else happened? In 5776 was one of the most watched years ever with respect to war against Israel. The typical view was that the blood moons of Shemitah could signal a war against Israel in 5776. That was the big view of, I was reporting on that as well. A view that has that we have always opposed. We found no basis for the claim in Scripture nor in history. In our book Israel First, we stood against the tide and predicted God's blessing on Israel. So if the Jubilee is a period of peace, then maybe for Israel they had relative peace there. So now with that ending, what comes up in 2017 is effectively it. Now we come to that crazy pronouncement by the educational, scientific, and cultural arm of the UN, UNESCO, to vote to disassociate Israel from the Temple Mount. This is nothing but blatant anti-Semitism, and God Almighty will not ignore this for those 50 nations who voted for it or remained silent. So you had that big thing. Finally, in the final days of 5776, the decades-long season of Israeli leaders staking their hopes on peace upon a divided Israel came to a close. On September 13, 2016, Shimon Peres had a stroke. He died 15 days later, just enough time to fit his funeral and remembrance into the last days of 5776. So is his death significant? So it goes on. So has the Jubilee been found with these significant events occurring? While 5776 seems to fit the evidence fairly well, it's not a slam dunk. We are going through a Jubilee transition, it says, rather than focusing on the exact boundaries of a Jubilee. And so they're probably stretching it a bit here. They're probably stretching to make something fit. But you never know. It still could be a Jubilee year. Ultimately, as stated in our book Jubilee Now, our goal was trying to solve the mystery of the lost Jubilee and trying to understand the nature of God better. And the final thought he writes here. When it happens, Jubilee is not the same as the Messianic deliverance. It has to be walked out, lived out. You may get your freedom, but with a few bad decisions you can go right back into slavery. The populist movements in Israel, United Kingdom, and the United States would do well to prayerfully remember that. And so is 2016 the lost Jubilee? Is 2017 the Jubilee? No one really knows because we don't know where the years start. There's legend that the Jewish rabbis have obscured, about 250 years of history or whatever there, so that people couldn't make predictions based on the year, based on the date. And so that's where they get the year 5776 from. They suggest that the legend is that the rabbis consciously, on purpose, obscured the date so that we couldn't say that, we're nearing the year 6000 and call something on that. So there's already evidence that that is out, by 200 years or so, and that we are very close to the year 6000 effectively. And I think that we are near the year 6000. I think the year is actually about 1986, 1987 right now, if you base the Gregorian on the death of Christ. And so that, if you put that where it is, and maybe put the Jewish year up to that location, then we'd be in the last 6,000 years of man. We're nearing the end of the 6,000 years of man, and the Lord is about to return, but first is going to come a 7-year tribulation period. So with that, I'll have to determine what the Jubilee would be in that case. If that were true, where would the Jubilee be? Because we would be less than 15 years out from the year 6000, where the year 6000 should in theory be a Jubilee year, effectively. So I'll have to do the calculation there and figure out where that might put it. That would be an interesting YouTube video. I will end it there, guys. You can read the article from Breaking Israel News and check it out, and let me know what you think. Are we in the Jubilee year? Is it 2017? And what are we looking forward to? It should be interesting time ahead. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.